This is Empire Sports Alliance, Unfiltered. No fluff, no filters, just the real side of sports. We're talking athletes, coaches, agents, doctors, executives, the people behind the scenes who actually move the needle. From building careers to surviving the grind to winning off the field. This is where real conversations collide.
Welcome to another episode of Empire Sports Alliance Unfiltered. I'm Ronnie. I'm the wealth management guy. My co-host Eric.
Hey everyone, I'm Eric, the sports concierge guy. And today I'm excited to introduce one of my friends, Blake Wright. Blake currently plays with the Colorado Rockies in the minor leagues. He went to Clemson and played baseball there. So, Blake, welcome to the show. Excited to have
Thank you. Yeah, excited to be on the show. I've heard great things. I want to be a part of it.
Of course.
Awesome.
Word is getting out about this
It's
show.
getting out. Let's go.
So, let's just kind of go to the beginning. Like, how'd you get into baseball, and what else did you play as a kid, and when did you decide to focus on baseball, really?
Yeah, so born and raised in Clearwater, Florida. And as you know, Florida is a pretty big hot spot in baseball. I grew up in Clearwater, Florida, Clearwater being the home to the Phillies spring training. And then obviously you have the Yankees, you got the Blue Jays, you got the Pirates, Tigers, or all kinds of teams right there in that area. So growing up, I mean, man, we would go to all the spring training games. My dad is actually originally from Williamsport, Pennsylvania, which is the home of the Little League World Series. So baseball is kind of in the blood. The whole family loves baseball, and then obviously baseball was the first love. I played a little bit of soccer as a young kid, but that was about it. Kind of started specializing in baseball as a young kid, and played it all the way up. It was the only sport I've ever played. A little bit of flag football, but we don't count that. But yeah, but no. Again, Florida being a spot you could play baseball year round, so very fortunate. Um, yeah, played it all the way up. Played it in high school, and then I was fortunate enough to go to Clemson University.
So,
Played baseball there for 4 years.
was high school easy? Like, did you get bumped up to varsity? Did you struggle trying to get play time?
Yeah, no, it was no high school was no walk in the park. Definitely had to earn my spot. Came in, we had a lot of kids. Actually, funny story. So I was thinking about playing football. The high school football coach approached me a couple times. They needed a quarterback for JV, and I played flag football for my middle school team because they didn't have tackle football. So, but they had flag football with all the football kids who ended up going to my high school. And anyways, when I came in freshman year, they needed a quarterback. There was no quarterback, and they knew I played baseball. They knew I played a little bit of flag football. So the coach was trying to recruit me. Well, it was the day before the first fall practice for football, and I was kind of sitting in the office, and I kind of committed to the coach, like, all right, I'm in. And I went home and I thought about it. I'm like, dang, do I really want to do this? And then I came back the next day. I saw the baseball kids going to the baseball field, the football kids going to the football field, and I looked down. I'm like, Coach, I got to go play baseball. Like, this is my sport. You know what I mean? I got to try to earn a spot. But so I went and played baseball all 4 years in high school. I played on JV my first year, and then I got bumped up to varsity, but I was kind of playing both. I was playing JV and varsity. I wasn't actually playing on varsity. I was just on the team, but I would play in the JV games, and then when there wasn't a JV game and there was a varsity game, I would go play in the varsity game. I think I got like one start in varsity my freshman year, and then a lot of pinch running appearances. But I knew I needed to develop. So that summer, that was a very important summer for development wise. I came back. I started my sophomore year, and started my sophomore year, junior year, and senior year. But unfortunately, the senior year got cut short due to COVID.
So, what was your main position originally, and has it changed as you've evolved? or stayed
It has,
consistent?
yes. It's definitely changed. I was a shortstop my whole entire life. Pitched a little bit as a young kid, but uh, had to put it down. I don't know if the arm could have handled all that. So yeah, I was pretty much a shortstop like my whole entire life. I played shortstop all 4 years at high school, and then when I got to college, it was kind of a realization like these guys are pretty good, and I need to get on the field. And there was a spot open at third base, and I also worked a little bit at second. So I kind of moved my way over to third. I tried to be as versatile as I could be, trying to give myself the best value to just to get on the field. So I started playing a lot more third, a lot more second. And then freshman year of college, I actually played more third than second and short. I started opening day at third base, but then didn't really play too good. Ended up being the backup shortstop. But that was about the last time I played short. Since my sophomore year of college, it's all been second, third base. And then I'm trying to work in the outfield too, just to be as versatile as possible. More positions you could play, the more chance you have of being in that lineup.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, is that something that, they only told you in college from a perspective of like, hey, be a versatile player? Like somebody
For
was
sure.
just, was it you and your ability to play shortstop that say, hey, we got another guy at that position? Or did you want to make the move to third, second, or just be a different player that way?
I think it was a little bit of both, but like personally, I wanted to make the move too, especially in college. I mean, still, yeah, you look at like the Dodgers, or you look at like a lot of MLB teams. But when the Dodgers first started becoming the Dodgers, when they were really good,
Yeah.
you look at like, I mean, geez, like 70% of their position players are guys that have the ability to play any position on the field. I mean, look at Mookie Betts playing
Yeah.
shortstop, right field. Guys like Max Muncy, he plays all over the field. You know what I mean? TK Hernandez plays everywhere. So yeah, I mean, I wanted to be a guy that could play anywhere because, I mean, obviously you got to swing it to stay in the lineup, but geez, if it's in between you and another person, you want to have the ability to go play another position, you know,
So that
or you
thought
could play,
process, then for you, Blake, always started when you were at Clemson, right? In terms of like, hey, if I'm going to
right,
make this from a pro level perspective, I need to, again, the versatility, et cetera, being flexible from a position perspective, even though you played shortstop all through high school, you're saying.
right, absolutely. And just how it worked, like numbers wise, coming into Clemson, we had a shortstop that got drafted that year. Um,
Yeah.
but there was other spots on the field that were open. So I knew I had to go, I got to develop. I got to become more versatile if I want to play.
How'd you end up at Clemson? Because that's obviously a reputable school and stuff. How'd you get there?
Yeah, so I actually after my sophomore year, I committed to the University of South Florida. I love the idea of being at home. I love the coaching staff there, and I actually committed there over Clemson. I I love the staff that they had, but a year later, the whole entire staff, everyone kind of left, and I reopened my process or my recruiting process. And I actually got seen by Clemson. I was seen by Clemson again in a tournament in Ohio, out of all places, and they still had the spot open there. So I decided to make the transition, end up going to Clemson.
All right. And then at what point were you like, okay, you know what? I'm actually pretty good at this game, and I want to try to go for the big leagues and be that 1% of people that go from college to the bigs.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was always a dream as a little kid. Growing up, every time I stepped on the field, I knew, this is what I want to do. I want to be a major league baseball player. But when I hit the big field at age 13, I felt like I was pretty behind, especially size wise. I think it was around age 15 or 16 where I felt like I started catching up to kids and started to pass them. Just started to grow, started to hit the weights a lot harder. Um, and that's when I knew like I have the potential here. I could go, I could do this. I can go Division 1. And I think when I got into college, it was the same kind of thing. I felt like I was not quite ready yet for after I thought I was ready, going into the season, but after experiencing my freshman year of college, I realized, yeah, I'm not quite ready yet. And I had a really good summer. I think that was a big development piece. I came in my sophomore year, kind of had a rough start, had a little bit of a mindset switch. Um, And then after that sophomore year, I played really well, and that's when I knew like this is reality. Like I can make this happen. I have what it takes, you know. But it was a little mindset switch. I felt like I was putting a little too much pressure on myself when I first got into college.
So talking about mindset, we just spoke with a Navy diver, and one of
Yes,
the big things he was saying is it's okay to fail. It's
right,
failing is what makes you stronger.
absolutely.
What failures have you had, and how did that help you grow?
Geez, I mean a lot. I mean, I think my 4 years in college taught me a lot. Right, I had my freshman year where I started opening day. I thought I thought I was going to be like that freshman phenom, the freshman that because I had a great fall. So when I started freshman opening day, I thought this is going to be the year. Like
Yeah.
you know, I'm ready for this, and I just wasn't. And it was simply the fact that I just wasn't ready. I didn't think I was physical enough, and just not enough experience. So I knew that, and I faced a lot of failures that year. So I knew going into that summer, I had things to develop, I had things to work on, and then coming into that sophomore year, it was kind of the same deal. It was like, all right, I definitely feel more prepared. I won the opening job, but like boom, within the first month, it was like I got hit right in the face. Like I was experiencing the same thing. And that's when I had a mindset shift of like, I'm gonna put e- every day that I come to the field, the target is gonna be on growth. I'm gonna try to get as good as I can with who I am and what I'm doing every single day. And I'm not going to think 2 days ahead, and I'm not going to think about the past. I'm just going to be great where my feet are, and I think that mindset, and that's kind of what got me to where I am today.
So
But then
was it
even
like,
my what was that?
Who taught you that?
Coaches, definitely my coaches. Um,
I was going to ask that in terms of like, did you help from a perspective in terms of the system you're in? You talk about strength and conditioning, you're talking about like nutrition, player development stuff. How did that work? How did that regimen change if it did?
yeah, I mean, just talking with my coaches, Coach Rick Franzwell, he was my strength coach at Clemson. We came up with a plan my sophomore year that I needed to put it on a little more muscle, a little more weight. I need to move better. I need to be more efficient with how I move as a player.
Why
So
was
I
that?
think those
From a
what
muscle
was that?
perspective, so you're getting a little bigger, right? So why is that? Is that, are you going to last longer that way, or what was it?
I need impact. It was more I need to slug it a little more. I need to impact the ball a little harder. You know what I mean? These guys around me, they're hitting the ball pretty hard, and I felt like I was a little behind. So I maybe if I could just gain a couple more miles of exit velo
Mm-hmm.
at that age, it could really benefit and help me just impact the baseball a little harder. And I felt like that, so it really helped me. But even so, like going into my junior year, okay, now after having a great sophomore year, rough start to the sophomore year, but ended up having a really good sophomore year, I went into my junior year hurt. I had a wrist injury, and that put me out the whole entire fall. And then going to the spring, I kind of thought, and I was actually down. I was actually a little skinny. I felt a little weak. I didn't really feel like my true self because of the wrist injury. It put me out for like 4 or 5 months, but I got healthy right in time for opening day. But you know how it is. Like, I mean, Dr. Blum, like when you're injured, like you get healthy, but you're still not quite like yourself. You know what I mean? Like you don't feel pain anymore. You feel good to go, but you're still not 100% strong and healthy. And, so got into the season and I felt kind of weak, felt behind, but I'm not going to use that as an excuse. I felt like I was putting a little bit of pressure on myself because it was the draft year. And I ended up having kind of a mediocre junior year personally. We had a great year as a team. Still a phenomenal year. We won the ACC. Still an incredible year on a team standpoint. But personally, I felt like I didn't play up to the standard, the type of player that I am. But it allowed me to come back senior year where I changed the target to owning pressure. I felt like I didn't own that pressure my junior year. And then senior year, that's what it was going to be. I'm going to own this pressure. And I felt like that's why I'm here today.
Did you have help from a perspective on that end of side? Like again, Eric, you mentioned, the mental
Yeah.
aspect of things. How did that whole, where did you get it? When I say help, somebody that helped you consistent.
Yeah, our coach at our coach at Clemson, Coach Eric Backage, is huge on the mental game, so he played a big role in that. I mean, we practiced mental game almost as much as we were on the field. Like, it was a huge staple in our program. We would start every day with a classroom session, is what we would call it, and in that classroom session, we would go over we would go over a lot of different things, but one of the segments throughout the whole entire fall was mental game, and we would kind of just, talk about the mental game and different strategies on how to really own pressure.
The mental game, when you say that, is that for a hitter, right? Is it like the approach to the plate? What does that entail?
I mean, it can entail a lot, but to keep it simple, like,
Yeah.
hitting is the most difficult but simple thing you could ever do. You know what I mean? And you got to keep it as simple as possible. You got to have an approach, you know, based on the pitcher that you're facing, and you got to stick with it. And baseball is such a game of failure. And currently I'm working with a guy named Tom Shaby. He's he's a 26-year Navy SEAL veteran, and he does kind of motivational speaking now. I linked up with him actually. He lives right near where I live, and we were talking, and I think it relates a lot to hitting, actually, or a lot to baseball, a lot to life, really, in general. And he asked me a question like, "Do you believe in positive thinking or negative thinking?" And I'm like, like, I believe in positive thinking, of course. You know what I mean? Like, and who would ever believe in negative thinking? And he's like, "I don't believe in either." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "I believe in neutral thinking, the ability to not get too high, not get too low." And I thought that was really cool. I thought that was a different perspective. Never really heard that one before. To always be in that neutral state, to never get too high, never get too low. Because think about it, when you're in that positive, because baseball is a game of failure. When you're constant, and I'm not saying to never be positive, you always got to be positive. But when you're in the performing, when there's pressure on you, you got to stay in that neutral state because you can't get too high. And then obviously you can never get too low.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. So then when do you go from Clemson? When do you join the draft?
It was after my senior year. So we finished up the senior year in the super regionals. We were 2 games away from Omaha, and which stunk, but it was a great year. And then I went back, or I stayed in Clemson, trained, and the draft was about 2 or 3 weeks later. And then was fortunate enough to get drafted by the Rockies.
And how does that, preparation up to the draft? Can you describe that a little bit in terms of, like, we just went to the NFL draft, right? Is there an interviewing process with all the different teams? What kind of stuff you go through? They ask what kind of workouts, etc. How does that work?
Yeah, I think a lot of the draft process stuff kind of happens in the fall for baseball players because like the college football season ends in January, and then they have what 3 or 4 months of the interviews and the training and they got the combine and all that. Baseball, it's kind of more, you play your college season, and then the draft is only what I mean, depending upon when your season ends, the draft is only a couple weeks after that. So all the interviews, all that process kind of happens in the fall. So for me, it actually happened in the fall of my junior year, and since I didn't get drafted, came back the senior year, I kind of still knew some of the guys, had some meetings with teams the fall of my senior year. And then obviously you play the season, you don't hear anything from scouts. Scouts try not to bug you when you're playing in the season because they want you to focus on just playing.
Yeah.
And then after the year, you'll talk to some teams, but for me, I just continued training. I just tried to stay as strong as I can. I knew it was going to happen. I had no idea when I was going to get picked, any of that. So, but I knew, something was going to happen. So I just wanted to be ready to go as soon as it did happen.
In the interviewing process, did you ever face any weird questions? We had somebody, it was a football player on, like, remember that? Eric, he was saying, like, they
Yeah.
had him write out a rap, and then,
Really?
perform that. Yeah, so I was like, that is funky. Did you you go through something
No, I
like that?
didn't. No, they were all pretty much the same. They're kind of asking the same questions that you guys are asking, like,
Okay.
what's your background, where you from, um, you know, kind of what's your approach to the play, what are you thinking? They're just trying to get a little insight into your character as along with who are you as a baseball player.
So,
Why do you? And I think a big question that they ask is kind of like, do you want to do you want to be a professional baseball player? You know, like, do you have what it takes? Like, because like you might have what it takes physically, but this is a whole different level of a game mentally. There's way more games. There's way more. Like, are you sure this is what you want to do each and every day? So I think that's the most important question.
well, and on top of that, I mean, look, with football, you come out of college, you get drafted, you could be playing that first season, where baseball, what's the average guy in the minor leagues for 3 to 5
Right.
years?
Exactly.
So,
Right. It's just different because
yeah,
yeah, exactly. Like in the NFL draft, you're drafted, and if you're drafted in the NFL, like you're pretty much guaranteed to be on that NFL team. You know what I mean? Like that year, within what was it, like within 5 months, like you're gonna be in the NFL under the bright lights on Sundays, ready to go. And the MLB, it could take anywhere from 2 to 5, 6, you know, all over the place. You know, you never know how long it's gonna take. So that's the thing. It's
But
just a little different, the
that's
process of
just a
things.
sport, right? It's not
That's
that
just a
they get
sport. Yeah.
forgotten in the minors. It's just more like, hey, they're trying to develop you further, figuring out a plan for the team. And obviously, there's other players that have already been with the major league club, right?
Right, exactly.
well, it's
As a scout, if I was a scout, I would make sure that the kid loves the game, you know? I gotta make sure that they absolutely love the game because there's gonna be downs and there's gonna be ups and it's gonna be a roller coaster ride of emotions and you gotta love it. You know what I mean? You gotta love being on that bus or because it's gonna be like that for a couple years. Not a lot of fans in the stands. It's not quite ACC
Yeah.
environment baseball anymore. It's just different, but you got to love it and you got to realize why you're here, trying to make the big leagues.
well, and it's also building your body, getting bigger, stronger.
Right.
But
Right.
how much different is the game from college to, I'll say, the minor leagues? The speed of it, the reaction. It takes time to develop
Absolutely.
skills and
Right.
adapt to them.
Right. I mean, as far as the level of competition, um I'm not going to sit here and say the level of competition in the ACC is better by any means. Like, pro ball is pro ball. Like, there's a reason these guys are here. It's the best of the best and the competition is very good day in and day out. And I think the biggest difference is just your routine day to day. In college, you'll play a 3-game series, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then you'll have that Monday to rest, get ready to go for the midweek, either Tuesday or Wednesday. And then let's just say you have a midweek game Tuesday. Now you got Wednesday and Thursday to lift, to get your body strong again. And I didn't really realize how much time you actually have to recover and to lift and be prepared for that next series, compared to pro baseball, because there's only one off day a week. So as
Yeah.
far as the routine of things, getting your body ready to go, the lift schedule, you can't do too much. You got to stay healthy. The best ability is availability. And that's just a huge thing. I mean, honestly, I think it's honestly the biggest thing, just the ability to be on the field.
What
I mean,
percent of guys do get called up to the bigs?
Geez, I don't know, like from being drafted.
No. Well, yeah, going from the minor leagues, single, double, triple to the bigs.
Can't be that high. I don't know exactly, but can't be that high. It's a grind for sure. Probably, I don't know, maybe 10%, somewhere in that area. Like, not a lot of guys. And there's always someone coming for your job. Even if you sign that extension or whatever. Someone's coming. You know what I mean? So you can't take any reps off, any at bats off, any days off. Because I think it could be a trap, playing in my first season. It was like I was struggling a little bit in the beginning. It was like, oh, like, we're gonna be all right. You know what I mean? Like, it's a long season, but looking at it, like, when I'm able to be on the field this year, it's going to be like every day. Like this is the biggest game of my life. Like every single day. You know what I mean? And never looking back, never looking forward. Just having, like I said earlier, just being great where your feet are. That's all you could do.
So what's a typical day for you? And then is it as glorious as you thought it would be?
So a typical day in the minor leagues would consist of, for me, last season, it would be I would go to bed, I would wake up probably around 8:30 or so. I'll make, because if you're not putting on the calories, you're going to be losing weight quick. A lot of games. So I make sure I eat a huge breakfast. I would eat 5 eggs, and then I would have a bagel with some organic peanut butter, and then I would drink an orange juice and a coffee every single morning. I kept it the same, and then I would usually I would usually just chill out for another hour or two, and then I usually head to the field around 11:45, 12. I do a long rollout, make sure my body's ready to go. And let's just say it's a day that I'm lifting. I would get the lift in. The lift would take about 30 minutes. And then usually we would have early hitting. Early hitting would take about 20, 25 minutes. I'd do early hitting, then go back in the clubhouse. I'd eat probably a snack. We probably have 30, 45 minutes until we got to be on the field. We'll go out on the field. We'll do all of our warm up activity. Then we'll do defensive work, and then we'll hit again. This is like BP before the game, hitting. Then we'll go back in. We'll rest for about an hour, eat lunch. We'll have our scouting reports. I'll usually do another rollout to make sure my body's ready to go for the game. And then we'll even have they'll offer some hitting like right before the game in the cages, like a little tune up to make some guys go, some guys don't. I would go on some days because you can't you got to save your bullets at some point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I would go on some days depending on the day, and then it's time to compete. Play the game. After the game, eat, go back, chill, get some good sleep, do it again, over and over and
How
over.
many calories
And
are you eating a day?
geez, I have no idea. It's got to be a ton though. Throwing down the calories. Tell you what, we're burning a lot. That's for sure. And you asked, is it as glorious as I thought it would be? Yeah, I do, because I love the game. You know what I mean? Like, what more can you want? You get to I get to play baseball all day and either prepare to play baseball or recover from playing baseball. So,
Yeah.
Was there like a welcome to the pro kind of moment for you that you remember? Like, oh shit, like, this is now different. College to the pros.
trying to remember. Yeah, I would say so. I would say so. So when we first got drafted, we were here in Scottsdale, Arizona, and we played in the it was after the ACL season. The ACL season was ended, and we had to play in some, I guess they would call it extended games, which technically there's no stats, but obviously every game matters. So we would play in those games, and I just came from a super regional with I think it was 7,000 people facing the Florida Gators at home.
Yeah.
One of the greatest environment I've ever played in, the greatest environment my coach said he's ever seen. And you go from that, and now, a month later, now we're playing on these backfield games. It's 115 degrees. You're playing with a lot of guys from different countries. I'm like, this is it. You're at this high, and then you start at the bottom, but you got to love it,
Yeah.
Just working your way up again. But that was definitely the moment I was like, yeah, here we go. Like, it's time.
Any hazing issues as a rookie?
No hazing. Well, I was already a senior sign, so I was already one of the oldest ones in the complex as soon as I got there, because obviously all the other guys are out, the affiliates.
Yeah.
But no hazing.
So nobody was picking on you, so you're all good. Cool.
Yeah, no picking. It was fun. My roommate was Cole Messina, who he was a catcher for South Carolina, and I went to Clemson. So we would mess with each other a lot. He's my good buddy. He's in Double A now, but we would So we had a lot of fun.
All right. So,
'Cause
Ronnie, ask your question.
Oh, you talk about the crap shit talking, talking
Exactly.
trash and stuff. Yeah, tell us a
yeah.
little bit about that, Blake. You know, on second or third, like you know, any base runners you kind of trying to get under the skin, or even when
No,
you go
I
up to
mean,
the plate.
personally, I'm not gonna say anything unless unless they start it, unless they start chirping a little bit. But no, I try to have respect. I try not to. I don't really talk to
What,
the
what,
other team much, but unless unless they're acting out, they do some egregious bat flip or something. I'll be like, come on, like let's go.
oh, so you what you say? You're taking offense if you're playing the infield or you're playing like let's say second base, right? Somebody's like hitting a one out of the park and does a backflip. It's not just the pitcher's getting pissed off. You're like kind of like
Yeah,
so
you
what do you
know,
guys do about it?
I would say deep down, I'm kind of glad that he did it because now it's going to make the game even
Yeah,
more competitive.
it's on
Makes
now,
it
basically.
makes it more fun. It's like backyard football, talking crap. You know what I mean? You gotta have fun when it makes it more fun.
You ever walk over to the pitcher during the in between innings? I'm like, hey man, you saw that? A little high and in next time around. What do you think?
No, I've never done that, but no.
All
Are
right.
they guys that do that?
So that brings up a good question, though. When you guys have your huddle on the mound, you already know
Right.
the pitcher already knows the scouting report for all the hitters and all that stuff. What are you guys really talking about? Is it, hey, did you see that babe in the second row, or what are we going to
Yeah.
on later?
No, it's always well, it just depends. It depends what's going on. It all depends on the situation. Usually we're talking situations. So, we got a guy on
Nice
first.
political answer, Blake. Good.
Yeah,
Like
right.
the '80s, Eric. They don't do
Yeah.
that anymore.
No,
Right.
that's dugout talk, you know? But
Sure.
no, on the mound, it's usually all about situations. So, we got this guy up, we're gonna get like it's usually to calm the pitcher down. Usually, it's to slow the situation down. That's the biggest reason for the mound visits. So we got a guy. Usually, we got a guy on first. Like, hey, let's get a ground ball here. Let's relax. Like, let's slow it down. Let's start him off first pitch cutter. It's kind of just a little reset. You know,
Yeah.
L-
Makes sense.
little reset.
Well, hey guys, let's step aside here for a quick break. What Eric and I called the unfiltered wacky stats. So let's do that, and we'll be right back. Okay, Eric, here we go. Wacky stats. This time we focus on second and third baseman. Here's the first one for you. So the arm strength paradox, so to speak, right? So third basemen often have some of the strongest arms on the field, right? They're a long throw across the diamond, right?
Yep.
Well, second basemen tend to have quicker, shorter throws. So translation, one of the groups throws lasers, the other throws before you even realize they caught it.
Nice. All right. So talking about third base, why is that guy so close reflex? Third basemen have the shortest reaction time in the infield. So unofficially, they lead the league in flinch per pitch rate. All right. Meaning 110-mile line drive gives them about 0.4 seconds to react, which is barely enough time to regret their life choices.
That's true. So, the shift of survival rate. So, second baseman historically played all over the field, right? So, during defensive shifts, especially, right? So, meaning they unofficially led and played out of position, but still blamed anyway. Percentage. So, ground ball sneaks through, somehow still their fault.
Wow. Well, did you know the second basemen are the dirtiest players on the field? Literally. The second baseman ranked number one in pants destroyed per season between dives, slides, and turning two. Their uniforms spend more time brown than their team colors.
Well, that's not easy to do. Well, good. Let's get back to the episode. All right, we're back from our wacky stats. So Blake, we talked a little bit in terms of like obviously now you're in the pros, right? You're playing in the minor league for the Rockies, and in terms of mental toughness and adversity, including injuries and all that stuff. How difficult is that to overcome to stay with it? Because again, it can knock you out for a little bit, right?
Yeah, it's tough, but it's the power of patience. Got to have patience in this game. No matter if you're hurt, if you're not playing well, you got to trust your process, trust the patience. And something else that I learned from Tom Shaby, the Navy SEAL.
Yep.
There's two types of mindsets, right? When you're facing pressure, you can either see something as a threat or you could see it as a challenge. So I think the more you see things as challenges, the better you're gonna, the more ability you're gonna have to take those head on and face them.
Just the way you approach it, right? In terms of like again, it's more of a
Right.
challenge that
It's all about
try
how you approach.
you find ways,
Right.
Okay.
If you look at something as a threat, it's gonna swallow you. You know, then you're thinking about all the negatives, what could happen, this and that. Where you see something as a challenge, you attack it head on. Whatever happens, happens, but we're gonna hit it head on.
Well,
Eric,
and
what do you see?
well, it's
In-
interesting, even doing some work with you, you're always positive. It's always like, yeah, you know what? It's a little better, or maybe I took a small step back, but it's not a big deal compared to when things originally started. It's a lot better than
Right.
then. Um, and it's frustrating having those ups and downs, but yeah, you make the best out of it. You do a really good job with that.
Right. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, like I said, you got to stay positive, of course, but when you're actually dealing with the issue, when you're in the moment, you got to be neutral and you just got to hit it head on as facing it as a challenge instead of a threat. I don't know. As soon as you like, if you're walking up to the box and you see this pitcher as a threat compared to like you know, seeing it as a challenge, it's probably going to be a little bit more difficult. Then you're worried about what could he do? What could he throw here? How good actually is it? Like just worrying about instead of just focusing on who you are as a player, trusting your process, hitting it
But I
head
mean,
on.
that's where like the scouting report, et cetera, comes in as well, right? I mean, that's where you guys go
Right.
throughout the game. You have an idea in terms of like, depending on the sequence of pitches, what kind of pitches,
Right.
obviously he throws, et cetera. So the mental preparation, once again, going back to that, it's not just about, being a huge guy standing at the plate. It's, there's a lot of preparation going into it, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's scouting reports, but like we say, you can't always live and die by them. You know what I mean? Scouting reports are just suggestions. It's not actually what's gonna happen. Like just because the scouting report and what the guy's done in the past doesn't mean that's what he's gonna be that day.
So
You know what I mean?
let me ask you this. You have, what is it, half a second to react to where the ball's going um, when you're a batter. Are you
Right.
able to really look at the guy's release? And do you see the seam rotation to then, come to a conclusion? Okay, this is going to be a slider, a curve, whatever it is. How do you do that? And at what point are you like, okay, no matter what, I'm swinging or I'm not?
Right. I mean, it's hard, but I think the biggest like the on deck circle is huge, right? It's a huge piece. That's where you get your timing down. You're taking at bats off the pitcher before you're actually in the box. You're getting your timing down before you're actually doing it. But the on deck circle doesn't start in the on deck circle. The on deck circle starts 3 batters before, 4 batters before, you know, getting your timing down. It's all about timing. Everything's about timing. And for me, staying on the fastball and then trusting your ability to react. But if you're not timed up, it doesn't matter how good your mechanics are. You're not going to hit the ball, and you're not going to hit it the way you might hit the ball, but you're not going to hit it the way you want to. It's all about timing, and timing starts 3, 4 batters before. So therefore, when you're up in the box, you know exactly when to lift your leg up. You know exactly when to start your swing. And I mean, timing is more important than mechanics all day, every day. And having good timing is going to allow you to see the shape of the pitch, allow you to, you know, see if see if it's going to be a fastball or if it's going to break off the plate. But that's the biggest thing for me, I guess, is timing when it comes to seeing different pitches, seeing the pitcher and what they're throwing, and starting that process well before you even get in the on deck circle.
So you're watching the pitcher the entire time in terms of again when his motion starts,
Always, yeah,
etc., where he goes, etc.
right. Another thing I didn't mention is maybe seeing a hitter that's kind of like you, seeing how they pitch hit. You know what I mean? Seeing like I'm a righty, seeing how they pitch another righty that's in the order before me or whatever. Seeing how they pitch our guys, see if they're starting off all righties with breaking balls, seeing if you can catch any tendencies, any trends. But again, like you said, like I said before, like these are just suggestions. So when you get in the box, it's time to compete. It's just you versus the pitcher. And the biggest thing is to be on time.
So how does your mindset change if you're now going up and they pulled the pitcher and they bring in a reliever? Now you're watching him throw 5-10 warm-up pitches, but is it
Right.
kind of, okay, it's a guessing game now?
Yeah. I mean, you got to time up you got to do what you can. So when that relief pitcher comes in and you see how he's throwing, his release point, what his motion looks like, you got to be timing it up as soon as he takes his warm-up pitches on the mound. And then obviously our hitting coach will give us a little report, but when it's time to go, it's time to go. So when a relief pitcher does come in, I'll time up I'll time up his pitches for what he's showing me in those warm-up pitches.
Harder is it to hit a sidearm pitcher versus overhand?
Personally, I think it's much more difficult because you just don't see that very often. You know what I mean? You don't see that angle. And usually those guys they sink. Like their balls sink or they're like frisbees. Like those are their two pitches. They're trying to sink one into your hands or they're trying to frisbee something off the plate. So like their balls are literally going two different directions coming from an angle down low.
So when you hit, how many home runs have you had?
In pro ball or
Yeah, both.
I don't know exactly. I had 10 last season.
Okay. What is the feeling when you hit it? When it hits that sweet spot, like, do you want to just celebrate, but you're trying to control yourself, or?
Yep. It's the best feeling in the world. Best feeling in the world is the best way to describe it. It's like that perfect. It's like you guys play golf, like, like when you drive it down the middle. I don't really play golf either. If I had to relate to if you had to relate to a feeling, like when you hit it perfect, you just know. You know what I mean? You know.
Do you
But yes,
do any backflips? Have you done one? You like celebrating?
I did just one against Florida State.
Oh yeah,
my senior year, yeah.
And did they take offense to it? Did you get drilled next time up?
No, because we swapped them. So.
Oh, okay.
That was the last bat of the series.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Swapped them. But yeah. Yeah, you gotta definitely. I try to contain myself. Try to keep it business-like, but I'm a high energy player, so I get.
But I mean, again, if you're a pitcher, if I'm a pitcher, I'm like, I'll remember. I'll see you, and I potentially see you again. I mean, from a pitcher's mentality, you kind of keep that in mind, right?
Definitely.
Okay.
You don't forget anything. They don't forget anything either. And we're gonna see these guys,
again,
especially in the Northwest League. There's 6 teams, so we play these guys over and over and over and over again. And then like the Giants organization, we play the Giants all the way up from rookie ball to the big leagues.
Yeah, I mean,
they're in everyone.
So Roger Clemens or Garrett Cole doesn't take lightly to this. So
right, no, those guys don't take it lightly.
Yeah, so good. But Yeah, if you guys don't mind, let's switch gears for a little bit because obviously, so I'm on the business side of things, working with athletes, et cetera. So I'm just kind of wondering, again, you go into college now with all the NIL stuff we have. I don't know how extreme that was on your side, but maybe you can elaborate on that as well. You go through the draft in terms of like, is there stuff that from a business aspect of things where you feel like, as a player, you wish you knew before when it comes to money, contracts, advisors you work with, et cetera?
Yeah, absolutely. Starting on the NIL point, NIL was just starting. I think it just started like my junior year, but it didn't really even come into baseball. It's definitely there now, a lot more than it was when I was there. But NIL was just kind of starting my senior year. Um, I tried not to really think much about it. I never even thought about hitting the portal or anything. I know a lot of kids nowadays will, jump in the portal and try to get some money and go elsewhere.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know.
Clemson's a
That's
pretty
just
nice program to be in. So.
right. Exactly. Like I knew, I was getting a 4-year education from Clemson. I
Mhm.
had the ability to play all 4 years there. Like I didn't want to go anywhere else, no matter what the money was
Yeah.
saying. Not that I didn't have any, offers or anything. Like I wanted to stay at Clemson. Though. There was no thought of ever leaving. But I know nowadays, like that's an option for some kids. Jumping in the portal, trying to get some money elsewhere, or even using it as a leverage in the draft. But I was a senior sign, so I was out of eligibility, so I couldn't. As far as on like a business side,
Got it.
like the draft is where I was going, But I know kids nowadays. That's definitely more of a option, for sure. But it's definitely evolved. It's definitely evolved.
Yeah.
All the NIL, you know, I mean, geez, I think it's gotten a little crazy, but we'll see. We'll see what happens with it.
Well, no. I mean, obviously, I don't know if it's as extreme, especially with Clemson. I mean, probably not as extreme
Yeah.
as the football program, but still, I mean, you guys
Right.
are, yeah, household names. So, um,
Right. Right.
what about in terms of contracts, negotiations, and all that stuff, agents, et cetera? What's been your experience? What's good, what's not good? What would you do different?
Um, Agents going through that process, that started after my sophomore year. I had a good year my sophomore year, and when I was in the Cape Cod League, I got approached by a lot of different agents. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's just finding a good fit, and
Yeah, from
I
a
feel like
personality
I felt
perspective, or
yeah, like personality. I felt like I found a good fit, and I really like the guys I'm with, and it's been great ever since. But um, yeah, I mean, an agent's just another person to help you out, another person to add to your team and to help you. So I think it's great. But yeah, nothing but good things to say
okay.
about my agents. And, yeah.
So from the financial side, if you want to go outside the organization and get work done or different things, are you running it by your agent? And do you come up with a number yourself? Like I'm willing to spend X amount and invest it in my body um to kind of help me get to where I want to be.
Yeah, I mean, no, at the end of the day, it's it's my decision, my body. You know what I mean? So when they if I feel like I need some help, something that was told a guy that I know, baseball player Elliot Johnson, he told me that your body is an investment. So when you put money into your body to help you in recovery, or spend as much money as you possibly can to help you get to the big leagues, you know? Like don't ever be afraid to spend money to help yourself get better. So I've always took that advice. I think that was great advice. And just not being afraid to spend money to make myself better. Because it's an investment at the end of the day. You're trying to get to the big leagues. So you'll do whatever it takes.
Well, I mean, we've talked to agents, marketing people, and you're your own brand. So if
Right.
your brand fails because you didn't do what you needed to do, then
Right.
Yeah, and so it's like, all right, the more you could put into the brand, the stronger and better it is.
Right. Yeah. Like everyone's financial situation is completely different, but if you can afford it, I would highly suggest putting as much money as you think you would want to spend on your body to help you get to the big leagues.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean,
Because
that is
your
your
it,
investment. That makes sense, right?
it's an investment. Yeah.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
Yeah.
and trust me, you'll make all that back if you make it to the big leagues.
Oh, yeah. No,
So never.
especially in baseball, it's nice. It's
Yeah.
lucrative. I have a couple of clients that are
Right.
players. Yeah, it makes sense. But in
It even goes to even like food too. You know what I mean? Like, don't be afraid to spend money
nutrition,
on some extra quality of food,
yeah.
like so that you can, because food's a huge factor in staying healthy.
Do you see a big difference in terms of like amongst like, players that you play with, et cetera, in terms of like that really say, hey, you know what, this is my body. I'm investing in it from a conditioning perspective,
Right.
development of skills, but then also nutrition perspective. I think it's probably there's plenty of stuff out there, even provided by the club, I would imagine, right? It's just
Yeah.
how
Right.
much
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
want to take
Right.
advantage of it. Is that the way it is? Or is it
Yeah. The club provides all these things,
yeah,
but it's more like on the food aspect, like not being afraid to spend money on
yeah,
food or, whatever you may need, an extra recovery tool
yeah.
or whatever, just to get your body. But I think, honestly, talking with a lot of guys, I think a lot of guys are on the same page with that.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Have you thought about, obviously this is very early in your career and all that stuff, but have you really thought about, hey, what do I want to do after baseball? Does that ever cross your mind? Just from a branding perspective, like once you're done playing. I know it's super early. It's just, I like to ask.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah, I have because at the end of the day, right? I'm 24 now, right? Let's just say, let's say I make the big leagues, whatever, 2 years. I'm 26, and then I'll be 36, right? 10 years,
Yeah.
and that's a great career, 10 years. But you're only 36 years old. Like, there's
Yes.
plenty of life left, and I don't want to just sit on the couch. So yeah, I think about it all the time.
What was
I
your
uh
major?
I was an economics major, so I was an economics major with a political science minors, and maybe to go the law school route, but I don't know. I've even looked into seeing if there's a way you could do law school while playing minor league baseball, but I don't think that's I don't think that's in the cards. I don't know if they offer any online law schools.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely. It's hugely expensive. It's important in terms of. I talk to clients on the NIL side of things, right? Hey, if you make some money, right, you might make the pros, you might not. But if you put money aside, you have a plan in place for later. It might help you start a business, whatever you want to get into, right? If you make
Exactly.
pros,
Right.
I think you bring up a really good point. Eric and I could do our job and careers till we're like 65 or whatnot, right? And then we go off into the
Right.
sunset. Once you're done, you might have had a great career if you have no plan, because I think as you mentioned it initially, right? You're playing 162 regular season games. This is baseball 24/7 for you. And all of a sudden it comes to a screeching halt. What are you going to do
Right.
next? It's not just the monetary perspective, what I've seen with my clients. It's also from a psychological perspective, purpose, et cetera, right? I think you want to have a plan in place even beforehand. I know it sounds crazy because like 36 is
Yeah.
young.
Yeah. No. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's definitely something to think about. I think it's totally healthy because I've had some people be like, "Why would like don't even think about what you're gonna do after? Like all that matters is now or whatever." But yeah, but at the end of the day, like it's reality. Like you could play until you're 45, but I'm not a guy. I don't want to sit on the couch. I want to still, give back to the game or do something. You know what I mean? So I think it's a fun thing to think about for sure.
But, since you play for the Rockies, one of my favorite player actually ended his career there, and he was in his 40s, Jason Giambi. So,
Oh, really?
he's in
Yeah, yeah,
his
yeah.
40s. But still, even that, I mean, that guy's still young now, right? Maybe he's in his
Right,
mid-50s. I'm talking about you, Eric. So, but, no, that's
right.
cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I said, it's definitely healthy to think about that. You know,
Yeah.
and even you. I know some guys even start businesses while they're playing.
Yeah.
It's a good
Well, it
little
makes sense
segue
because
to
again, you have a brand, right? It's you, right? Now you
Right.
have to protect that brand. Eric and I had a guest on talking about intellectual property. You can protect that brand, but I think it's important. Like, you're not planning retirement once you retire. You know what I mean? You're
Right.
not getting car insurance once you get in a car accident, right? You do that beforehand. You plan ahead.
Right.
And I think it's
Right.
good to
Exactly.
that discussion. But during your playing years, I would, encourage folks to have these conversations, if that's with their, wealth advisor, tax advisor, agent, etc., because it can really set them up when they still have a playing platform for the next, level in their lifetime. But yeah,
Absolutely. I know there's a couple guys at Clemson right now that have started their own, like they do like their own training, like
yeah,
personal training kind of thing.
makes sense.
So like
Great.
doing like hitting lessons, pitching lessons,
Perfect.
strength training, you know, stuff like that. So I think it's pretty cool.
Well, that's awesome. Eric, you want to hit him with the walk-off 10
All right.
up and in?
Let me,
Okay.
let's pull this up. All right. All right. Favorite pitch to hit. One word.
Fastball.
Okay. Bus rides. Love them, yes or no?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, we play lots of poker. I do like, yeah, they get a little entertaining. It's times to hang out with the fellas.
Man, what's the major league and the bus rides they had? I mean,
I want to say no, but like I look back on my career at Clemson, it's like, dang, this is some of the stuff I remember. You know what I mean?
Sometimes.
Like I don't really remember like what I did on my 73rd at bat or whatever. Like I remember those bus rides. You know what I mean? So I know the memories that are being made. That's why I say yes.
True or false? You think about the call up every day.
Sure.
Toughest adjustment.
To pro ball or
Not
just
what I'm doing, but
right.
not treatment adjustment, but yeah. Toughest adjustment once you made it.
The volume, the amount that you're playing.
Okay. True or false? Minor league life builds character.
True.
Okay. Biggest motivation.
Big leagues.
Okay. True or false? Failure is part of daily life.
True.
Yep. Your role on the team.
Right now,
Yep.
well, right now I'm at the complex, so encourager.
Okay.
Positivity. Trying to get everyone get healthy, get ready to go.
Last one. True or false? You're ready for the majors right now.
False. We still have some development to do for sure.
Yeah.
But I'll be ready.
Hey, and that's great.
Got to get healthy.
Recognize it and know it, embrace it.
Right.
I got a follow-up
We'll
question.
be ready.
For the first one, is there any hitter that I'm going to ask here, what's your favorite pitch to hit? And then I'm not going to say fastball. Is there anybody that's going to tell me it's a knuckle curve?
No. Nobody.
Oh, I just wondered.
Be probably a little concerning.
Yeah, if somebody says he can slide or a curve or any sinker, any
Knuckleball.
ball, you'd rather have feels the best, right? If somebody
Right.
throws you a four-seamer full speed and you hit it out of the park, I mean, it's kind of awesome.
Right.
Huh?
Yeah.
Experienced that feeling, but hey,
Yeah.
it's all good.
On that fastball.
Seriously, Blake.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, it was great having you on. I'm happy we met spring training, and it's exciting to see where your journey takes you. And nothing but the best of success, and hope to be by your side with you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Blake. Thanks for
Thank you,
making
Ronnie.
time, dude.
Yes, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.